Alright folks, welcome back to another cast. I've got Luke here doing this co-cast of a Scorpion mirror match. Welcome back to another cast.
Hi guys.
We have Wosho versus Baishi Nomen, aka Byron Crane. Pretty well-known, high-rated Scorpion player. I think Nomen's like I think he's the highest-rated Scorpion player right now, and he's definitely like top 5, I think, total. Based on Matrim's ELO scores. So, taking a look at the deck lists here, do you have them, Luke, or do you need them?
I have them open, yeah.
So, looking at Nomen's list here, we see Nomen playing Crab Splash. He's on 3 Pathfinder's Blades, 1 Watch Commander, and 2 Skirmishers. I asked some Scorpion players in the Discord, and looks like the people who are on Scorpion Crab says that Scorpion Dragon is favored versus Scorpion Crab, which makes sense. That's what I thought, but I just was double checking with some of them. Heinzel and Kalimsha both say that they feel the matchup is Scorpion Dragon favored, and those are 2 of the Scorpion Crab players.
Yeah, if we look at what you pick up when you go with the Crab Splash, it looks like it's a lot of attachments. That's a little tricky against other Scorpions in general, and the Scorpion Dragons are the ones with the most attachment hate of all.
Having no Miyamoto's Fury also hurts in this matchup, as a lot of your Calpha characters minus Kachiko are low glory. Like Yojimbo and
Fury is very effective.
Like even their dynasty characters, right? Like only their 4s and 5s have 2. Everyone else is 1 or less.
And I think for most of the game, 2 is still alive for Fury, and I think that's one of the major reasons why that card is extremely powerful.
Yeah. Because
of
your
the
stronghold.
2 glory slot. Yeah.
Alright, here is the password. You're gonna have to copy it in.
Interesting.
No
I see our players are upping their game.
Yeah, no one uses like a random password generator for his passwords, so they're always really weird. So, real quick, just some notable things in the matchup. So, counterspells are really important in this matchup. We do see Nomen has 2 copies of Censure, so getting those turned on can help you force through your events. So, like, and then we see Nomen on 3 Assassination as well. 3 Assassination. He also has 3 Way of the Scorpion, which is a literal dead card in this matchup, as Wosho has no non-Scorpion characters in his deck. So, do we see Nieces for both players? So, Wosho's on 2 Niece, Nomen's on 3 Niece. So, Niece is really important in this matchup, because it lets you filter out your dead cards. And interestingly, we see Wosho is on 3 Cloud the Mind, 2 Court Mask, and 2 Fiery Madness. Fiery Madness, a card that has pretty much all but disappeared out of the meta.
Yeah, it's really not so great against Let Go, especially because of the card slot it represents means you're not bringing other things. I think it'll be fine against Scorp Crab, though.
Yeah, I would agree. It's really strong against the conflict characters, as after they drop a conflict character, like if you play Yojimbo with like 2 Fate or whatever, having to get Fiery Madness is horrific, right? Because you just then have a covert stick. You don't have like stats.
Yeah, and I think that this deck, it runs out of Dynasty pretty heavily, only 4 conflict characters, and there's obvious synergy when you get your Shoju down with Fiery Madness.
Yeah. We see 3 policy debate from Nomen. We see no policy debates from Wosho. That's another big difference. Nomen has 1 I Can Swim, which is really good with policy debate. Lets you turn it on when your opponent might not expect it. And we see 1 Mono no Ore from Wosho. So that could be a pretty big hit. Both players on 3 Assassinations, so I expect these honor totals to just plummet. Interestingly, Wosho's on only 2 Yunako and two Yunako, two Illusionist. No Palace, so if Nomen flips Palace early, he'll get a big advantage with his Censures. And yeah, so this should be a good game. Provinces look pretty much standard. Nomen has Rally under his Stronghold, and Wosho has Entrenched Position. That's the only difference.
Yeah, I think that both of those can be strong. I think that they're both less impactful with open deck lists than they are without, when your opponent is guessing which one you have.
Let's see. Huh. Can you... maybe, wait, let's see. Right-click and copy the bat? Oh, that doesn't work.
Did it work for you?
Why did I...
Sorry.
So, when I... Alright, let's try this. Huh! It just turns into a bat for you. There is no 2 characters, it's literally just a box. Yeah. Look, I didn't come up with this password system.
The Scorpions are having a little bit of a troll on their crane casters here.
Yeah. They're just tired of this matchup, giving us grief for having guest of honor. I asked Nomen if he could send you the password. Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, wait. No. Ha! Please. Wait. Can you highlight it and copy it?
I mean, I know all that's coming through for me is as I've tried all of the combinations of copy.
Yeah, it's just bat.
I can.
Oh, try bat colon. Does that work as the password?
I did try that. It doesn't work. Interestingly.
Yeah, I like. So Nomen sent me this box and I copy it, but then if I send it to you, it just doesn't. It doesn't stay the same. It just turns into bat. Wait.
Why don't you DM me on Twitch?
Oh, sure. Let's try that. Are you in chat?
Yeah.
I don't see you. Alright, real quick. So we see, so Nomen lost the die roll. We see Nomen buy Manipulator. Wosho buys Manipulator. We see Illusionist also. Nomen gets first pass. Looks like both players use their Manipulator to increase their bid by 1, so both players draw 6 cards while we figure out the password situation. Yeah, I don't see you in chat for, you wanna post something? There we go. Nope, that's not the right thing. Whisper, here we go. There. Alright. Alright, so no one passes their first conflict opportunity. Wosho does a political poke, runs in a pilgrimage. We see political skill 3, and Nomen grabs fate for Seeker of Void. Alright, did that work? Alright, cool.
Yes, I'm in.
Yeah, we figured it out. We just had to not send it on Discord.
Interestingly enough, it showed up as a bat in Twitch, but I was able to copy it and get in.
Wait, did it really? For me, it just shows up as a box.
Yeah.
For me, it just shows up as a box. Yeah, I don't see a bat. I see a box.
The bats are coming for me.
Alright. Alright, so we see after the poke, Wosho just retreats with favorable ground. I don't think either player are playing Fantanas. Okay, no. Nomen has 2 fans, and Wosho has no political bust. So, like, unless Wosho played a character there, there's no way he could break Pilgrimage. And committing characters into 7 open fate is just asking to be destroyed.
Yeah, if he had walked into, I guess meditations would be the bad province for an attack like that.
Yeah, where you wanna poke and then leave.
Secret cache would be pretty unfortunate too, honestly.
Yeah, welcome to the Scorpion lineup. So Nomen passes his second conflict opportunity, just trying to leverage the amount of fate that he has right now and keep his board at parity. He's also getting his province effects right now. So scouting doesn't really do as much against Nomen as it would against Wosho, because of he's not on Dragon Splash. So having his provinces turn face up is not a big deal.
So we see that having the Shameful Display flipped second is a little bit unfortunate. He's already burned his favorable ground. He potentially could have avoided it from firing if he had hit it first.
So it's unfortunate and fortunate. So it's fortunate because it denies Nomen the second Seeker Fate?
Yeah, absolutely, that's important. That one fade is very good for the Dragon Splash, which I guess he's the crab. So, I mean, it's still one fate is one fate.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that the Seeker and Keeper cards can only be reacted once per turn. So, I don't know, with like Know the World, you could potentially defend 2 Keepers, but you'd only get the fate once.
Right, and that comes from the fact that it is a card, and it does have a triggered ability.
Yep.
So it follows all the rules for cards.
So we see a defense from Nomen. We see Shameful Display, honoring his manipulator. We see Assassination Attempted. We see Edict, removing the honored status. Maybe Wosho wanted to do that in a different order and use his Illusionist first to remove the honored status from the manipulator. Then the manipulator would go down to 0 via the edict.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of merit to that, if just because a lot of the time Scorpion are honoring their characters primarily to get an extra use of Forged Edict.
So we see Bonsai being used. We see Nomen using the not often used mode of the third resolution. So when you play Bonsai, you can resolve it twice for the normal effect for +4 military. You can, however, resolve it a 3rd time for no effect by just losing an honor. And so Nomen does that to enable the Scorpion boxes. So Wosho steals from Nomen, and then Nomen steals back. So this is where the Scorpion strongholds kind of cancel each other out, but lead to this weird mini game of trying to turn them on.
Alright, so we see Nomen was able to declare no conflicts and secure the favor. Very interesting.
Well, there's one, right? And he won the one that mattered.
Right, but Nomen didn't declare any, right? Or did he?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't declare any.
Yeah, so Wosho could have just sat there and taken favor if he wanted. Like he did the poke into Pilgrimage, and then you just leave. Can you not hear anything, Joe? Alright, my stuff is unmuted in chat. Can anyone else hear? Alright. All right. All right. Cool. Cool. Thanks, chat. Thanks, chat, for letting me know. Alright, so Nomen flips Nice. Nice incredibly strong in this matchup, being able to cycle these dead cards. So a lot of the times these Scorpion hands can be inflated in the mirror, where one player could have multiple calling in favors or wave the Scorpions, and so their hand looks like it's a lot of cards, but in reality it's only like 5 cards instead of 8. So Nomen has 14 Fate here. I wonder what he's gonna do. He doesn't have Kachiko or any issue or any like large conflict characters, so I expect him to buy pretty reasonably out of this stage. Miyako's pretty strong in his deck with skirmishers being a cheap character for him to drop and trigger. So we see Wosho buys Outcast with 1 Fate. Outcast is really awkward in this matchup as the strongholds. I guess Wosho can just do his conflict first and then activate his stronghold.
Yeah, Wosho is in the driver's seat as far as the stronghold trades go until we see the first assassination from Nomen.
So we see Miyako 2. Shane says Miyako and Nice. It depends on his hand. He might want to keep a large Fate bank. So Wosho takes the passing Fate. Now we'll see if Nomen is going to buy another character here. We see Artist with 1. Are we going to see anything else? So Nomen just buys Blackmail Artist and passes. Wosho turns the dishonor up. Wosho bids 1, Nomen bids 5. So then Wosho's like, well, crap, I need to recoup my investment here, and Wosho decides to use his manipulator after Nomen and then Nomen does not use his. So Nomen loses 3 honor, then steals with the stronghold. That was an interesting bid from Wosho if you're gonna buy Outcast and then not bid to keep dishonored.
Yeah, I have to say it's a little peculiar. He's got 8 Fate and 11 cards. He
Wosho
was able to
Kachiko.
only go... Yeah, so he managed to only be at a 2-card disadvantage while bidding 1 to 5. Dishonor does become relevant eventually in almost every Scorpion mirror, so maybe he's just trying to buffer himself.
Well, so
But he needs to go aggressive now, or the strongholds will equalize it over time.
yeah. When it comes to Scorpion games, this is not even just the mirror, but in general. So Scorpion games, the honor, there's normally a pool of honor that is shared between the players. Like it's just the two clans starting honors put together, right? So Scorpion tend to just bring the honor pool very low, where in other games you'll see the honors hang around close to what that is, depending on how many unopposed show up. Scorpions just like tank the honor pool to the point where they're just stealing from each other, and the pool just becomes like 4 total honor. So that's one thing to note when you take the airing against Scorpion. I think unless you're trying to dishonor them, you would always want to take two honor to increase the total honor in the pool. So let's see here. No, Schmooze, the splashes are Nomen is on Crab Splash, Wosho is on Dragon Splash. Nomen has played an Edict to cancel an assassination. His manipulator was honored, so that's why it doesn't have a dishonor status right now. Here are the deck lists for people.
So we see a military conflict into Meditations. I think that Meditations is the worst of the 2 possible provinces you could have Nice sitting on if you weren't going to play it.
Agreed.
But I...
Is this military? We can see a charge here.
I mean, it's a Scorpion match. You're seeing maybe 20-30% of the game taking place on the board. Other 70% coming from the hands.
I lied. We can't see a charge here. No one is now playing charge. But no one has access to potential 2 censures right now, and that could be a pretty big game changer.
Yeah, I think that he's running 2 additional cancels than his opponent and manage to actually grab the favor to turn it on means that it doesn't matter nearly as much that he was the first person to have to use one of his cancels.
Censure also having no cost in terms of dishonoring your characters is pretty huge. So we see a Bonsai from Wosho. We know that Nomen has no access to cards like Miyamoto's Fury, which would be really strong at just shutting down the conflict after Wosho commits to it.
It is a Dishonored Illusionist, so for shame would be strong.
Agreed. So if you're Nomen here, if you had a first shame, you just shame the Illusionist.
It's an option that would be available to me. It's really hard to say with hands this large. We do see him take that route.
Thanks, Fantav. Or Fantay, maybe? Yeah, that game, Fantav. That game was really, really awkward. I put myself in a bad position and managed to claw my way out.
So I suspect we're gonna see why Wosho decided to attack with his weakest military character into this conflict.
He could have just wanted to trade cards. So you're trading a Bonsai for a first shame, right? Like I think I value first shame more than. Okay.
Ooh, censure on the charge.
So he presumably charging Shoju.
Yeah, I see 2 charges in Wosho's deck, actually. 2 charges, 1 Kachiko, 1 Adept of Shadows are the cards that would be relevant now.
Joe, I feel like whatever you do at work just isn't busy enough. So, Nomen wins the conflict after both players pass. So, both players expended 2 cards, right? I would say Nomen used 2 more impactful cards than Wosho did, but he did win the conflict. And so we see Nomen running political conflict, and he runs into meditations, so that's definitely not a great hit for him. He's gonna lose the fate off of his blackmail artist. Is contesting fire.
I think in this game, you have to be pretty careful with your fate pool and when you decide to fate up characters if you know they're very likely to be one of your pokers before a lot of the provinces have been flipped up.
Schmooze, I'm actually in Crane chat now. I have betrayed the crabs and joined the True Blue. So, interestingly, we see the artist is defended. What are we gonna see here? Nomen does have fans, where Wosho does not. We can also see a conflict character now that Meditations has been used, and that will trigger Miyako. Interesting, both players just pass. Nomen steals an honor, but now his box is turned on. The firing choice was interesting, right? Because this illusionist is on the table, it's not gonna do anything. You're basically when you take the firing, you're basically minusing a fate from your opponent. Like, is that really that good when your opponent has 8? Yeah.
No. I think is the answer.
Schmooze, I don't think I would ever. This is the turn 2. We're halfway through turn 2, Tenorim. Surprisingly, Joe, Crane chat is just as active as Crab chat, which I found very surprising, having visited the other channels. I would say Crab and Crane are tier 1 when it comes to chats. Scorpion and Phoenix are tier 2. And then the other 3 are in tier 3. Actually, Dragon's tier 4. Dragon chat is so bad. Nobody says anything. It's just like strategy discussion. There's like no chatting. There's no memes. It's really, really, really boring.
Well, everyone is just meditating on their mountain retreats.
Yeah,
It's
something
no
like that.
surprise there.
So we see Wosho running into Shameful here on purpose. Oh, but he runs into Kachiko.
This is the only Kachiko copy
Yes.
for Nomen. So we see that Nomen has used 2 more counters than his opponent and has used his only Kachiko.
So we see Shameful being activated here. I can only assume this Illusionist is now going to remove the token from Kachiko. Okay, real quick. So we have a Miyako trigger. Miyako trigger has Wosho dishonor his outcast, which is actually pretty good use of that because it's gonna get dishonored from Shameful Display anyway.
Yeah, it basically nullifies half of Shameful's effect.
And then the Illusionist can nullify the other half.
That's actually surprisingly clever. Maybe not surprisingly, but impressively nuanced.
Yeah. I think it's a well-read situation, right? Like you're attacking Shameful Display, and then you're basically you're just like, this is gonna be my line, right? Like if it gets Miyako'd, then I'm gonna just dishonor this character because it's gonna get dishonored anyway.
Okay, I take that back.
Wait. wait. I'm just gonna scroll up real quick. Shameful Display has not been used. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say that that is not the correct line.
Are we missing something? No, because Meditations was flipped with the first conflict, so Shameful Display has definitely not been used.
Correct. I am going to say that I don't think this is correct. I am ready to be proven wrong, but until that happens, I think this is incorrect. So, Schmooze, it only matters if the game goes longer, right? So the longer the game goes, the absence of the cancels will come into play. However, both players now have the same number of cancels, as Nomen used a censure and an edict, and not multiple edicts. Also, I would never join Phoenix chat, Schmooze, only because I actually find Phoenix to be I actually dislike playing Phoenix the most out of all the clans. I just cannot play that clan. It just feels so clunky to me. So we see a policy debate here. So this Kachiko is just gonna teach this outcast a lesson. So we get a quick peek at the hand here. So I saw an edict and Nomen immediately takes edict. We see Bonsai, Calling in Favors, Cloud the Mind, Magistrate, Edict, Let Go, Fury. Those Let Go's are really awkward right now. We do see a Cloud the Mind come out on Kachiko. Does Nomen have a Calling in Fate? Oh, he doesn't have any Fate.
Yeah, going down to 0 Fate does restrict your options a little bit. We know what options Wosho has.
Yeah, with those Let Go's.
Another policy debate. That's kind of savage.
So he's just gonna start picking up these Furies. Yep. And so we see a Fury get taken. Wosho passes. So Nomen next turn can buy out a small character and then move Calling in Favors. Skirmisher is actually a really sick target to move Calling in Favors onto, because the Covert is a gained ability. It doesn't even blank the Covert. So here comes the Shameful Display, and this is why I said that using the Illusionist was incorrect, because it just got re-dishonored, and now Kachiko's honored. So definitely a misstep for Wosho, because his Illusionist is leaving. So we're gonna see Nomen run into Miyamoto's Fury here. He's just gonna pick up the Fate on the ring. He's leaving the second Fate. He's leaving the Fate on the Water ring. So next turn, presumably, he's gonna first attack Water. And we're gonna see Wosho not defend. We're gonna see Wosho play Miyamoto's Fury. And what does Nomen have as a follow-up? Yep, there's the Miyamoto's Fury. So Nomen just passes. That's very reasonable. Like, you know your opponent has it, you're just gonna make him play it, and you just accept that.
Yeah, at this point, 2 of the 3 are gone. A card that's supposed to really have a large impact on the game has not really done so.
Yeah. We do see that Wosho's hand is pretty bad. Just like the hand itself wasn't great, and then those policy debates just ripped up the good cards. So he needs to draw some fresh cards here. The problem is now that the honor totals have just plummeted. We see in the regroup phase, there is an action window in the regroup phase. But
yeah, you see that Wosho passed it. He's asking for permission to unpass it to use his stronghold.
Yes. So, in this this scenario, it is up to the player to allow a take back in this sense. Because priority was passed, it is up to Nomen to allow if he wants a take back or not. And so I personally don't like philosophically, I personally don't allow takebacks just because I prefer both players to just play. But I also don't fault people who do allow it. So it's just a personal preference. Okay, so Nomen says he'll allow it this time, but just next time he's basically just saying this is your one your one chance basically. Alright, so box gets used. No, Joe, see, what you do is, after your opponent gives you a takeback, you savagely hit him with the no takeback. You just no-sir them. Immediately no-sir them. That is a really good way to make yourself a community pariah.
I think it's important to note that you know, you really don't want to make those types of little mistakes because while it is your opponent's choice whether you're allowed to take a take back, especially in streamed matches, it can be a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation as far as community perception.
Yeah, we had an argument. We had an argument, not argument. We had a discussion on in one of the servers after I think it was Heinzel versus Click5. There was a discussion about takebacks. It seems like depending on what game you come from, it depends on how competitive you want to approach these things. Some players prefer to just allow all takebacks. Some people prefer none. I think what's the best practice is to discuss it before the match starts. What level you're gonna be at. I think that is the best solution for that. But we see Shoju being bought out here with the Blackmail Artist. So, combating Kachiko with Shoju.
Interestingly, Kachiko is above Shoju in political skill currently, but she's clouded.
For now, also. So if Wosho has a court games, he can honor Shoju up to 9 also.
Yeah, calling in favors is not the best answer to cloud the mind anyway.
So you're just sitting at work watching the stream, Joe? Like, you just get to do whatever you want for the rest of the day? Alright, so we see Nomen bids 3 and Wosho bids 1. Nomen goes below an honor, steals back to 5, so he's down 2 right now. So this outcast is a 1-1 right now. We see Miyaka running into meditations, interestingly. Maybe he just wants to break meditations without the opportunity to give like a better ring effect. Or, sorry, better province effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Nomen's opened up a hand size difference, and a 4 skill military character demands either a character or a card to answer the break. So it's incrementally builds up advantage to declare it.
Yeah, ham hops.
And
I agree with you. It's just that I think that some players like have a more laid back or lax approach to that. It's not like it's not damning on you if you prefer to give taybacks to your opponent, right? Like it's actually like people see that as a positive thing. I just don't think people should be crucified if they don't want to allow takebacks. That's just my argument. Is that regardless, I just don't think the community should crucify people for basically wanting to play at a max competitive setting. So we see Bonsai coming out here from Wosho, buffing up his Outcast. Huh. If you're in this situation, Luke, do you play a Bonsai to save meditations in the Dao?
I think you don't, right?
I agree, right?
Um,
So that was what I was. That's my line. Is I just block with my character that's gonna get bowed by the watering, right? Because you just save yourself on honor that way, and then you just bonsai or you don't bonsai and you just take meditations break, so you have the rest of your provinces which are all sick.
Yeah, if your opponent is making the decision to repeatedly farm your meditations as opposed to flipping your other provinces, you should think twice about whether you think it's worth investing in saving.
Steel for paper is a little bit different. Paper is a little bit different, right? In paper, if we go to the regroup phase and we've readied all of our stuff and we're grabbing fate out of containers and stuff, and my opponent says, "Can I use my stronghold?" I mean, technically, like no, right? We've already unbowed all of our stuff. If we're in the fate phase and he's in the process of unbowing his stuff and he does it, that's fine, right? It just depends on where you've done it. So now that meditations has been used, we see Kachiko going in political. Kachiko is going in by herself, so she is vulnerable to court games here. However, Wosho doesn't, like, Nomen knows most of Wosho's hand here. It's 2 let goes. Let's see if I can get a quick scroll. It is calling in favors, 2 let goes, cunning magistrate, and unknown card. So we see a double defense by Wosho here. So Nomen has a huge hand advantage here, 11-5. He's up 10 fate. So let's see how this plays out. So Shoujo reduces Kachiko's skill by 1. If she dies, it will or if it reaches 0, she'll die.
I was thinking about this. It would take basically all 5 cards to do it, right? Because you'd need to court games, then shame to dishonor, and they'd have to choose it.
No, he has
you'd
3
have to
zeros.
counter the.
Yeah, he has 3 zeros in his hand. He has calling in favors, 2 let goes. So Shmooze asks, why block here? Why not just let this go? I have to agree. I definitely would have just taken my licks here, and then you can win a political conflict if you're Wosho, and then seal an honor back. This air ring would also turn the box on for Wosho. I think blocking here was incorrect. I think Wosho is committed too heavily to defending meditations on the Dao, which is just let Nomen basically gain advantage. Joe says Shouju can't stand up to the wifey. I think that's true for most relationships, Joe. I'm pretty sure the husbands don't stand up to the wives. What's the saying? Happy wife, happy life. So Wosho passes his opportunity. Nomen claims favor again. He's gonna lose Miyako, but he gains an honor there. So honor totals are sitting 5-7. Nomen has a huge hand advantage. Wosho has cunning magistrate, 2 let go, calling in favors. So Wosho needs to find a favored niece. Like if he could find favored niece, he could turn these cards into real cards. He doesn't get to find it though. He does find Sinister Soshi, which is incredibly powerful with Shoujo.
Yeah, interestingly, Nomen's board is leaving after this round. Pretty much 100% of the time.
We see a Yunaka with 3 Fate. Wow. Actually, I actually think that's really strong, right? You can basically choke the hands down to the point where Wosho's not going to see that many cards, and you basically know he has no relevant cards in his hand. So that's actually really strong. We're going to see Nice bought out here by Nomen. Yeah, Joe says, in my life, my current house hunt, I check the websites and see if I can find a house that my wife would be willing to live in. Yep, that's pretty much how it goes. So we see Wosho bid 2, Nomen bids 3. We see Nomen ups his bid to 4, which then creates a 2 honor gap, which then lets Nomen steal with the stronghold without letting Wosho turn his on at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's pretty great. Pretty great read.
I think Wosho has been too conservative on his draws. The problem right now is that he has 3 zeros in his hand, so his hand size is actually 4. So we see 14 to 4 basically. It's not even 7. It's not even 7 ham houses. It's 10 because Wosho has 2 let go and calling in favors in his hand, which just are not playable cards right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Nomen is keeping like Pathfinder's Blades or attachments in his hand just because he just doesn't want to turn on his opponent's cards.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to trade him out for something else later, you play your niece. Otherwise,
Nomen
yeah,
still has 11 Fate. Nomen is on... Both players are on 2 Fate Worse Than Death. I could see this being a Fate Worse Than Death turn for Nomen. And because he has so many
right
more
now
cards... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that right now it looks like Wosho is gonna roll into next turn with the better board, but a Fate Worse Than Death and a Void Ring trigger on Shoju would flip that over.
Yes. Yeah, Joe, both players are only on 2 Fate Worse Than Deaths. I think Fate Worse Than Death is not that great in the Scorpion Mirror. I could be wrong. I don't know if there's if like Heinzel or any of the Scorpion players who normally are in my chat, or Woodwind, Heinzel, if they could comment. But it feels like Fate Worse Than Death is kind of medium in the Scorpion Mirror. One, it's very susceptible to a cancel because it costs so much fate. 2, there's not usually that many great targets. It just so happens that there's a Shoju on the board right now, but like that doesn't happen that often until like later on in the game. Maybe I'm wrong though. Like I could just very easily be wrong. I personally don't play either of these clans, or I don't play the clan, so I don't play the mirror. Is really what I meant. I think we're gonna see a military attack first with this Rumonger. Schmooze, I personally think that's most Scorpion like it's really hard to win via conquest until really later on in the game. Like you just don't have the stats and the buffs to make it through. Like Scorpions, the way Scorpion wins conflicts is they reduce their opponent's stats instead of buffing up their own stats. Like it's the opposite of Dragon, right? Like Dragon wins conflicts by just making their characters just these huge stat monsters. So we see Blackmail Artist, political attack into Meditations. We see Kachiko defending. This is interesting. He's just gonna stand with Shoju then and defend. I think Nomen might do military void into meditations. You can like you just bought out 3 Fate on Yunako. You could basically throw it away if you want. One thing I notice a lot is players, especially Scorpion players, but players in general that are stockpiling Fate, they need to spend it at some point. A lot of the time, players don't spend their Fate, and they just end up with like a ton of Fate all the time. And once the hands dwindle down, and you get like a bad flop, you're just like, well, crap, what am I gonna do with all this Fate? Like, I hope no one has a plan for 11 Fate. I probably would have just bought more characters, like Nice. Hell, you could have just put 4 on Yunako if you're gonna run into meditations.
Yeah, I think what they're doing here is when we see characters like Hirowe or Shoju, we'll probably just see them come, or Yunako, we'll just see them come down with 3 or 4 Fate, because we know he's running them.
I don't defend this if I'm Wosho.
Yeah, you might actually win a conflict this round if you don't defend it.
Well, so here's the like this is like a compounding of the of what I think is a wrong line by Wosho last turn. So last turn, if Wosho had let meditations break, this turn Nomen has to attack into Shameful, Pilgrimage, or Secret Cache. Like, I don't think Nomen. Nomen is on Yojimbo, sure. If you're on Yojimbo though, Joe, like you could have just played Yojimbo on your military attack, right? Like, so we see Shoju defending Mill. I think Wosho is committing too much to defending meditations. That's just my analysis of the game. We'll see in the long run what happens. So we see Soshi activation. And then we see a bonsai come out here. Nomen does not kick the bonsai. Nomen just wants to win the conflict. He doesn't care about breaking.
Well, he has that 12 Fate behind. He's just gonna overfate his characters and keep poking into meditation.
Wow. Wosho's just committing so much. So now Wosho pays 2 Fate to play basically what I like to call an ancestral character. So, Adept of Shadows is basically the equivalent of an ancestral character, where you can pay, it just goes back to your hand every turn, and for 2 Fate you can get 2/2. So, while its stats are very inefficient, the ability to just play it over and over again does allow for basically some play with all your Fate.
You do get to play with your Fate, but when you're already behind on Fate in the pool, it's a bit scary.
Yeah, so we're seeing Fate Worse Than Death here. This is gonna be the counter. So Nomen's picking his spot. So we see Fate Worse Than Death on Shoju. Wosho has the opportunity. I don't see a Dishonored status token coming out on anyone yet. So, Wosho doesn't have a counter. He, however, does use the Rumor Monger to make his Sinister Soshi Dishonored instead of Shoju. So, the problem now is Shoju's going to get voided, and Wosho's board is going to be severely lacking compared to Nomen's. So, Nomen wins 4-2. Meditations is still there for Nomen to keep attacking.
I do wonder if this is a situation where you just let the Dishonor hit Shoju and keep the Rumor Monger live. Because Shoju's not sticking around. The Soshi is. Not that the Dishonored on the Soshi means all that much.
Do you not want to take the Dishonor loss this turn?
I think you do, though, because your Stronghold's up and your opponent's isn't.
That's fair. Okay.
Although I suppose you're already probably picking up your Adept.
Yeah. Presumably.
I just think keeping the Rumor Monger alive has some play to it.
So Adept gets picked up. So Wosho should use his box. He does. I think Nomen's plan is to dishonor. I think Nomen's gonna go for a dishonor victory.
Yeah, I think both players are just trying to angle their opponent into the situation where they lose to dishonor. In order to do that, you need to take control of the flow of the honor pools, and to do that, you need cards and a board.
Yeah. So we're gonna see Rumormonger probably go fire just to grab the fate off of that ring. So Wosho's probably never gonna attack the Facedown province for Nomen because of secret cache. The problem is, what do you attack?
I think you just attack meditations and acknowledge that you wasted a fate at the beginning of the round. Although
that's not true, Tenor. Like I could see Nomen going for conquest because he has so much fate. You could just buy enough characters where you can start breaking. Like I could see Nomen go for conquest. I can't see Wosho going for conquest.
yeah, so on average, Nomen will have one more conflict character drawn by this stage in the game. It'll either be a skirmisher or a Yojimbo. I guess that makes attacking Shameful Display not the most appealing thing in the world.
Well, fine, Tenor, and be that way. I'll use some hyperbole when I am casting your game. I'll make sure to. Actually, your game's sick. I really like your deck. Your match versus QQ should be really fun.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Tenorum's deck wins my most interesting deck of the Season 3 cut.
Yeah, interesting for sure. Shane, not necessarily, right? So if Wosho's board clears out and Nomen flips a Shoju, we could just see 2 breaks a turn. You could just see 2 breaks. So Wosho did pass his conflict opportunity. We see a Yojimbo with 3 fate come out. We're just gonna see him poke into meditations, gonna contest his air or the firing. He's gonna dishonor another character. Actually, he could honor Yunaka. Like if you're
I think that'll determine whether we think he's going dishonor or conquest, right?
Yeah.
I think he dishonors the Rumormonger if he's gonna go for dishonor, and I think it would be strong. But honoring Unico really does just roll over a ton more stats and utility into the next round. It feels
like he's gonna start going for breaks now. Yunako with 2 glory is now a 6/4. That's a really strong character. Like, I think if Nomen here flips Shoju, we could just see some real strong conquest because he has 2 strong military characters, and if he flips the strong political character going first, we could see 2 breaks. Yeah, Tenorim, that's fair, but to be fair, Utaku Infantry is probably the best 1-drop in the game. Sorry. Utaku Infantry has the potential to be the best 1-drop in the game. It's probably the 4th best. That's probably the 4th best 1-drop overall, though, behind Liar, Berserker, and Doom Shigenja. I do think it's better than either the Crane 1-drop or the Phoenix 1-drop, just because it can just be monstrous in stats. So we see Manipulator with 1 from Wosho. Wosho does flip a Hiroe dupe, so probably gonna see Hiroe this turn. We see Nice and Artist for Nomen, choosing not to buy Hiroe. So we see Hiroe 2 fate for Wosho. He's gonna buy out Hiroe again. So I still know 4 cards in Wosho's hand if I'm Nomen. It's still 2 Let Go, 1 Calling in Favors, 1 Cunning Magistrate. So Nomen swaps the bids now. Nomen goes down to 1. Wosho goes to 2. Wosho should go to 3 to enable his manipulator. He does. So he's gonna steal with the stronghold. He needs to be careful as to not die this turn, because he has a dishonor character leaving play this turn. So go ahead.
So Wosho's at 2 fate. The Cunning Magistrate can't be played until he can declare conflict. We've got let go, calling in flavors that are dead. So his effective hand size is 6, and with the Niece, Nomen's effective hand size is 15. So it's kind of scary.
So Wosho steals with the stronghold. Nomen could potentially attack a different province this turn. We could also see Nomen just attack with the Yojimbo and the Niece into on a mill attack at meditations and just keep taking his fate hits because he's so much higher in fate. Probably military air. I think you declare air first. Yep. So we see military air, coverting the rumormonger. If you're Wosho, how do you defend this, or do you defend this? Again, this keeps going back to the point that Nomen, while it is disadvantageous to lose fate over and over again every turn, it is only 1 fate, and he's managed to keep the fate advantage to a point where it hasn't been relevant.
Yeah, I think we're in the danger zone now, because Wosho's at 4 with a dishonored character on board with his stronghold bowed. If Nomen can get his honor under 4, maybe casting an assassination, he's got just so many potential dishonor triggers this round.
That's true. So there is the assassination.
We do see it.
Nope. No, he uses Niece. Discards assassination.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, Heroe could really mess with his sequencing this round, so he's got to be careful. Yeah, you see, we see that Nomen is thinking a lot like you are, Mind's Desire. He's actually switching Heroe from a 0 to a 4 to try to prevent the meditations from breaking.
Interesting. But looks like Wosho is not buying it. He's like, alright, cool. Break, finally.
It would also set up the third policy debate. Yep,
oh, yeah, that's sick. Right, so now so 1 to 1. Alright, so now we get a real... So, there's the 4 dead cards. We see Mono
No, it's up to 6 dead cards now.
Oh, Way of the Scorpion.
No, that's 7 dead cards. Mono is dead here.
So,
if he can't stay alive.
Assassination is dead. Calling in Favors is dead. The 2 Legos are dead. The Mono is dead.
The Way of the Scorpion is dead.
Yep. 6. Nomen says, please hold while I figure out if I win.
I mean, that is what policy debate does. It's a little, I don't know, maybe slightly brash to say it that way, but that is something you can do at this point in the game.
It's just it's more just like Nomen has so many real cards and Wosho has no real cards. Like Wosho has cards in his hand, but they don't do anything. So he's going to take an honor from Wosho. He doesn't have a courtier in this conflict. He can't dishonor Heroe by any means. He goes down to 3, down to 2. Blackmail Artist can steal to 1, and then fire. So Wosho has to declare the firing. Discards Adaptive Shadows. Yeah. Yeah, Schmooze. Wosho's only playable card right now is Fiery Madness. So we see Assassination just kills the Manipulator. Oh, this enables the Stronghold, right?
Now he can steal. Yeah.
So he steals to 3. Airing steals to 2. So she goes down to 1. So Wosho has to. No, Wosho's dead, right? Because if he declares an attack, he dies to unopposed. Yeah, I think Wosho's just dead on board based on his hand. No.
Yeah.
No, he can do. No, he's dead, right? So even if he declares a military water to get a fate, he's dead to political fire.
Right, because he doesn't declare the fire in that eventuality,
yeah.
so it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Wosho's dead on board based on his hand. So I think this matchup played out to the fact that Wosho was I think what happened was he defended Meditations too staunchly, and he drew too many zeros. Like
I mean, we have to be like perfectly honest too. He elected to draw 7 fewer cards. I think that was mostly him bidding under Nomen, but then not taking enough aggressive action to prevent it from re-equalizing.
Tenerum, I can only assume Nomen has at least 1 court games. So court games is also another source of dishonor.
Well, we see him do the military water play.
I mean, that is his only line. If you're Nomen, you don't defend this. Yep, Nomen doesn't defend. Oh, Nomen has Fate Worse Than Death. Does use the Rumormonger to move the status to Heroe, so that's another status. So he's dead now. So you do Political Fire, and then you can, even if you hit Shameful Display with what's that card called? With Court Games, that's another Dishonored.
Alright, I don't think it actually matters that this is Pilgrimage.
No, because it's... So he has to play his Magistrate. He has to play his Magistrate with 1 Fate here. So Shameful Honors, you dishonor with Court Games, so he doesn't have an honored status. You steal 1 with Blackmail Artist, and you dishonor the Rumormonger with the Firing. Yeah, I'm 99% sure no one has the game won right here. So we see Soshi -2/-2. We see Nice discarding the 3rd Assassination.
Why'd he do that?
What do you mean?
I guess, assassination is once per round. Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
Alright. I figured it out. Not always the fastest at it, though.
He did it because it would be illegal to play the second one. So we see let's see. Akis in chat, Rudo is saying no outs. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, he's just dead on board. No, so if you magistrate with 0, if you magistrate 0, Akis, then court games kills you.
Well, he dies to blackmail artist and Soshi. You don't need to worry about the court games.
Well, he has to win this conflict, right? Nomen has to win the conflict for, the artist to fire. That's
okay,
the thing.
Fiery Madness. That's fair. So he needs 1 card out of 9.
Yeah. Yep, there's the court games. Court games honors niece. So now he's winning the conflict again. He could have just dishonored the the magistrate too, and that would have done the same thing, because then it would be 2 dishonor characters leaving. Yeah. Akis, you need no one to have nothing with 1,000,000 cards in hand. That's gonna be it. Like we know his hand. Unfortunately, his hand doesn't do anything. Yeah, for shame also does it. You just bow. Looks like Wosho's just trying to decide if he is indeed dead. He's very dead. Widwin, we have another Scorpion Mirror coming up at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is in, let's see, half an hour, 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours, we have Sir Largeness, Frotop, versus Yaba. So, yep, that looks like it's going to be it. Wosho passes, going to lose to Dishonor, and looks like Nomen has won the game.
So I think the major takeaway here is Scorpion Crab can still win by playing their Scorpion cards.
Yeah, yes. You don't need to play a single crab card. Yep, he didn't play a single crab card. And so that's going to be the game. We're going to take a quick look at the bracket here. So we have Nomen advancing. Defeats Wosho. We have Sir Largeness versus Yaba coming up today. And then we have 3 games coming up. Or no, sorry. We have 1 game coming up tomorrow, and then 3 games Saturday. And 1 on Sunday. That will round out the match here. So, yeah. If you guys are free today, tune in again in 3.5 hours. Will be a secondary cast. I think Luke might be busy for that one, so I will try and round up another caster. I might try and grab a Scorpion player if I can, obviously to give a little bit of insight into some lines. But until then, everyone have a nice rest of your day, and thanks again, Luke, for casting.
Thanks for having me on, and thanks to everyone for watching.